All right, welcome back.
Sorry about that. Took a little bit longer than I thought. But we are back.
What'd you eat?
Ribs.
Damn. Wait, what kind of sauce on the ribs?
Anyway, we return to Tiberius and Varius in the middle of a bizarre landscape that seems to spread before them. There is now a ball of light that is now sort of flittering in front of your face. Varius.
And that isn't going near it.
Various pauses, leans in a little bit, and takes just a cursory sniff, his ears going up.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem to really react, but it does kind of it bobs up and down as if it's in water, but it's in air. And it's just it then kind of lists to the side, to the right, and then to the left, as if it's looking you up and down.
He sort of peers at it, and as it's becoming clearer, it's not immediately attacking or harming him.
Mm-hmm.
He leans from one side to the other, sort of looking it over and trying to get a better sense of what it is.
Give me a second. I need a toothpick because something's in my teeth. Hold on.
You mean some delicious ribs on your teeth?
Gotta make sure you get every last morsel.
I mean, the ribs. You gotta, man. You gotta.
I mean, it is Memorial Day weekend, so it's only appropriate.
Oh, that's right. It's Memorial Day for you guys, eh?
Yeah. 3-day
Better.
weekend, baby.
All right, that's better. Sorry about that. But
Yeah, they have to get up ours.
Anyway, the thing doesn't really even move as you kind of perk your way forward toward it, but it then kind of moves to Tiberius.
Hello.
In fact, the moment you speak, you kind of hear the soft, childlike voice say, "Hello."
Varius is talking to me.
In fact, Varius, you can hear it too.
His ears shoot up a little bit. And is it an echo?
No, it doesn't seem to be echoing at all.
Hello, point of light.
Are you evil?
I mean,
What is your definition of evil, honestly? Because around here, it could be anything. Are we outsiders? Yes. Does that make us evil? No.
It just goes quiet as it looks at you. Are you bad people? Do you do bad things?
I mean, honestly, what is bad?
It seems to be looking over both of you, quietly, waiting.
we're not perfect.
No one is. Are you
If
here
you're
to-
asking if we're going to harm you, no. You're an innocent point of light. There's no point in doing so.
Are you here to hurt people?
No, we're here because we don't want to be hurt.
Let's be flatly honest, Varius. No one else is here but us. If we return to our homeland, we will be killed. So we're here whether we like it or not.
Mm,
So you're here because you're lost.
I
Are you
suppose
lost?
that's one way to put it. We didn't exactly plan to come here.
What are your names?
Are we using our real names, Varius? I mean,
It actually kind of quietly looks at you. It's like, I'm seeing if you trusted me. I already know who you are.
you know everything about us. Perfect. We don't have to answer these questions. Can we move on?
No.
Blast.
I know your names, but I don't know who you are. What do you intend to do?
Well, that's
Leonard asked us for help. We're here to help Leonard. Once we have our magical stones that allow us to do whatever we want, or not be killed upon being seen, I'm not sure what we're going to do. Maybe open up a barn. You always wanted a barn, didn't you, Various?
mm,
A library, right? Books. You and your books.
I'm not talking about something so simple. I'm talking about you, yourself. Not what's around you. I want to know who you are. Why?
Various is shuffling a little bit and glancing at Tiberius.
Please, don't be scared. I won't hurt you. I don't want to hurt anyone.
We're Gardanians. Does that mean anything to you?
The only thing that means is that you're not from this place.
I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what we're going to do. We can't go back home. This
No.
place doesn't seem friendly to us.
The universe really isn't very nice, is it?
It is what you make of it, honestly. Sure, we can't go back home, but home is just where you want it to.
It seems actually quite pleased at that answer, Tiberius. You kind of hear a little happy chime from the light.
Various, I think I made it happy.
I think so too.
Do you want to
What?
help this place?
Well, I certainly don't want to harm it. I mean, how do we help this place? We already agreed to help Leonard. It's quite obviously something that can be done there. Once that's done, Various, what do you plan on doing? Helping more?
There's a lot of bad things happening right now. Things that I can't stop. And it's only going to get worse. I don't know how to stop it.
He still seems unsure.
You
But
can insight
Various-
check.
Sure.
It's not close enough. It needs a really high roll, so.
Damn.
You're not sure. You can't really put much of a motivation to a ball of light. It almost seems really difficult to read. It's almost as if it's
I mean, it is a ball of light.
It is a ball of light. It's almost as if it's trying to get something from you, but you can't tell what it is.
Listen, for lack of a better term, this is our home now. And as much as I hate to admit it, I would probably rather die here than go back to where we came.
It sounds like where you came from was a horrible place.
I have no idea.
There's a lot of bad places out there that I've seen.
Wait, have you ever seen Gardania?
I've seen a lot of places. Places that are connected here. I can see them all. I can't go there though. But I can see them. But they can't see me. I'm not allowed to.
That's quite ominous, isn't it, Various?
Hmm.
You kind of see the ball of light begin to drift away from you toward the hallway that you can see up ahead.
It's moving away from us. Is that good or bad?
Wait. What is going on? He's just trying to get a question out.
What do you mean?
Well, where are we?
You're here.
Oh no.
I mean, it's quite obvious that we're here, Varius. Why would you ask such a simple question?
He snorts at Tibbs.
You there. What can we call you other than Point of Light?
I don't have a name.
Okay, nameless one. Could you tell us, what do you want from us? We're trying to get magic stones so that we don't get murdered on sight. We are outsiders of this plane, and honestly, death does not become someone of my...
It doesn't seem to answer you at first. You're not sure if it's thinking or if it simply can't answer you.
Varius, I think we broke it.
Varys starts to follow after it.
Okay. Tibbs, are you gonna follow Varius?
If he's taking the lead, sure. If he gets blasted, then that's his problem.
Eventually, you start following the ball of light into what looks to be a hallway that seems to be fragmenting little by little. Along the walls, you actually see intricate murals of what looks to be the creation of a world by two figures, one shorter than the other. But it seems the hallway is slowly fragmenting itself, like one little bit every so often. It's not very fast, but it's still happening. The further you go along, you start to see more and more murals depicting different entities, spheres that seem to represent worlds, and all kinds of different strange hieroglyphs.
Is there anything we can make out in particular?
I would say roll an Arcana check for this one. Okay. Do you want to roll one as well, Tibbs?
I mean, he is interested. But he is lucky, so I'm going to give myself advantage on.
Okay. The ball of light's not moving very fast. It's actually moving slow enough for you to kind of walk after it as you look. Okay. Sadly, that's not enough. But for Varius, however, as you kind of walk through, you start to really more notice these murals. These paintings seem to represent the creation of something, but as you look forward for it more and more, you actually start to recognize some of the inscriptions. In fact, you actually recognize the wording as it's written in Primordial. As you start to kind of pause to read it, you start to realize that this is a record. This is a record of the planes and its creation. It starts with two gods, apparently. The All-Father and the Mother, which is depicted by the two figures that you see surrounding a single sphere, which is branching into four other spheres. And from what you can tell is that the Mother and the Father created this place as a sort of a realm for the souls that have been lost in death. And as you move further along, you start to see that there was conflict between the two individuals. It was mostly brief, but the Mother eventually left after creating an element that seems to be lost to your knowledge. You can't read it. While the Father remained behind to finish his work. But this entire mural looks to be a history.
He peers over this as he walks after the point of light, ears perked up in confusion.
As you move further down, you notice that there are several other figures that now appear. One that you actually recognize as Madarat, with a smaller person that looks to be made up of swirls, and also a figure that represents the Void Lord, who you had briefly seen at the party. All three of them seem to be surrounding an orb as well after the gods have left. From there, you actually see the mural continue on, and you see the smaller figure, the swirly figure, break something within themselves and split it into 4. But then, the mural seems to shift in tone as you see the crude depictions of an army essentially coming down upon the swirled figure. You see other depictions of armies as well, going after the one depicted as Mataract and the Void Lord. And more importantly, full perception.
Oh boy. Yay!
Oh yeah, okay. You kind of get a little closer to seeing these armies in the depiction, and your heart drops. These are the very same robes that they're wearing. They're the same as the creature, the being that you saw that created that monstrosity back in the Plane of Fire's district. It's a being. They're basically the guild's army. And after reading the inscriptions, you realize that this subsect of mages had basically fallen upon the plains to try to steal the power that lay within because of the greed of their archmagister. And in fact, on one of the last murals you see a towering figure almost being casting a shadow down upon the short figure, the swirly figure, all before you see in the final mural the short figure's been impaled. And then the wall breaks away.
That's all very good and such, but what are we doing here?
You kind of see the ball of light at the very end of this hallway. The hallway does have an end. It sort of settles into what looks to be a pedestal, and it sits there.
Varius, you look as though you've seen a ghost. What are you doing?
Look at this. And he starts to point out and explain what's being shown.
Right. And what can we do about this?
I'm not sure, but it must be showing us for a reason.
Perhaps chosen was more than a moniker.
He turns away from the murals, starting to walk towards the pedestal.
It stares up at you. You can't really tell with no eyes, but it definitely feels like it's watching you.
So, Paul, what does this all mean? I'm calling you Paul now. Point of light. P-O-L. Paul.
It doesn't seem to react, but it will kind of once again begin to talk. It's like, this place is, as you've seen, something's happening. Something I can't stop.
Do you want us to stop it? Is that what you're asking us?
I want help. I can't do it on my own. But it actually looks at you, Varius. For you, it might be harder than your companion, considering what's at stake for you.
He shuffles a little bit.
Varius, what does that mean?
I think I know.
Well, do enlighten me, please.
He turns away a little bit and like usual, he's wanting to avoid the subject.
It's okay. I know. Your friend doesn't need to. I just need to know that I can count on you. That you know what to do when the situation happens. When the end comes. All things reach an end after all.
I'm sorry, are we talking about Varius here?
Yes.
Also, I apologize. I haven't slept in
It's
over
okay.
24 hours, so my brain is a little slow.
It's alright. Take your time.
Tibbs is just rather, flummoxed that it's not about him.
Tiberius, you can definitely tell that you're also talking to something that sounds like a child, so you may want to start approaching it like that.
He sighs, his ears flopping, and he dips his head. I mean, neither is Varius.
Prism gives him 5 licks out of 5.
But Varius is finally like, all right.
Yeah, you're not planning on dying on me, are you?
Takes more than a few washed up mages to end me.
I certainly hope so. You can only die when I tell you you can die. You got that.
But actually rolled surprisingly low for once. You kind of feel a wave of relief fall over both of you.
At the mention of death?
No, a wave of relief, like a wave of calm. And you see the light vanish.
No, what? I had.
Varius, what did you do?
I'm still here.
I have one question. If you know us, do you know about this place and the people here?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever heard of something called, negative?
I do.
Varius, that's the opposite of a positive.
Huh,
You know, like a negative number.
Do you know where I can find them?
I do.
They're imaginary, Varius, like numbers.
If you look in the dark corners of the world, you can find them.
Oh. His ears pin back. But he understands.
He's actually going to continue. It's like, talk to the people you know. They might be closer than you think.
Okay.
But they have to hide from everyone else. No one else understands them.
He sighs. Thank you.
It'll actually go quiet for a few seconds, but you feel almost as if there's an attention on you, Tiberius. As if it's asking to see if you have a final question.
I don't like the name Paul. Honestly, you have to have a name. You don't look like a Paul. You look more like a I don't know, balls of light. They don't look alike to me. Perhaps a Simon.
The people who know me have a name for me, but that is not a name I can give you.
Very well. How about what's a good name for a child? It seems like a child to me. Timmy. How about Timmy for now?
It doesn't seem to answer.
I don't think it's interested.
Well, that's just not helpful, Varius. Honestly, how am I supposed to know how to help the ball of light figure out how it's not going to be, what is it, murdered by this strange little swirly pattern, or what is it? Or the...
I
Very well.
think right
Timmy-
now we're...
We will help you, Timmy, in any way, shape, or form that Guardians can, as... Well, honestly, I don't plan on dying here, and if my plans ever come to fruition, I must be alive to fulfill.
What are your plans?
To return home and give my family what they rightfully deserve.
So you plan for revenge?
That's such an ugly word. Reciprocation.
I see. I'll be adding that to my repertoire.
See, I taught it something. Look at that, Varius. You're not the only smutty pants around here.
Eyes. Tiberius, not sure that's something they should have taught anybody, but he's just going to slowly... He's not one to talk, and he finally just crosses his arms over his chest.
Now, that's the look he has whenever he's done. So Varius isn't going to ask any other questions, little Timmy. I believe I'm finished here, and if our answers are of amicable means, can we continue?
I suppose. I'll be watching you, though. I'm always watching. I'm everywhere.
Well, that's incredibly creepy, but thank you, Timmy.
You feel as if there's a weight that has left the area around you, and now you feel almost like it was as if there was a presence there before, but now it's gone. And the only thing before you is a pedestal.
Well, quite terrifying, don't you think? A child in charge of all kinds of memory.
They did tell us that it would be odd. It may be specific to us.
Trust me, I'm not even half as terrified of that voice as I am of other things. Shall we move forward?
There's no way forward, actually. There's just the pedestal. On further inspection, though, you can see that there is 2 indentations on the pedestal. Almost as if something was placed there, but is no longer there, or is meant to have something placed in it.
What do the indentations look like?
There seemed to be a general shape of an oval. Not really anything more than that.
This time it's you first.
Honestly, I made sure that we touched at the same time. Okay, arm 3. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2.
And he reaches out.
Tiberius will also reach out, but just a half-second late.
In fact, Varius, did you put your hand on the pedestal into the indentation? Nothing happens until Tiberius's hand also meets the pedestal. And in a flash of light, your vision is filled up. You see nothing but white before you.
Oh, not this again.
You feel as if you're floating, but then the room darkens around you. You find yourself back in the chamber with your hands no longer touching an orb, but outstretched and clenched around something. You're both standing alone in the room.
The something. Is there something?
There's something in your hand.
We
Both of
take a
yours.
look.
As you kind of open your paws and kind of turn around, there is a gray-looking stone in each of your hands with a small sigil on it. You both acquired a sigil stone.
Yay!
Go ahead and add those to your inventory.
I told you, Varius, nothing to be worried about.
so sure about that.
Oh, please. What's the worst that could happen?
Just had to say it, didn't you?
Say what? Let's go meet our friends and let them know that everything's fine. Now we can go and help Leonard with whatever his quest is. The thing that made that horrible snake monster and, kill it. Whatever they want.
You guys sort of turn to where the platform leads to where the door was, and you kind of see the door slowly starting to open up, allowing light to finally flow into the chamber. Outside, Rose and Flix, you finally see the door is beginning to open after what almost feels only like a minute.
A minute?
Yeah, it's been very little time, according to you
Oh
guys.
no, it failed.
Wow, Flix. Wow.
It's been a minute.
Maybe we succeeded with great, alacrity.
Or you failed because it's been a minute.
In fact, Tiberius and Varius, it felt a lot longer. You felt like you were in there for hours, but you weren't. Apparently, you've only been in there a minute.
Okay, we can ask for a do-over.
A do-over?
Well, yeah. We'll go and we'll ask for like a primordial do-over.
I need to speak with Timmy again. Honestly, Flix.
You begin to say that, Tibbs. You're
Right.
about to say the name, you're about to mention something, but your voice catches in your throat. And you can't say it.
You okay over there, Tibbs?
Just perfectly fine. Just a hairball in the throat. It's. What do I say?
But you guys have fur.
You kind of see that Kohana's still there with his friend. And they're kind of looking over you, but there is a smirk on their faces. They know something.
Everything's fine. We've got our magical stones. I'm just choked up over the sentiment, apparently.
Oh, you didn't fail?
I'm Tiberius Remington Vermont. I do not fail.
You were in there for a minute.
We're very fast at succeeding.
You just
Kohana.
gave a Fae your full name.
And
You kind of see Kohana smile. It's like, yeah, a minute sounds about right. It doesn't take long. Like, at all.
Felt longer.
I'm
There's
quite
a-
ready for a nap.
There seems to be a knowing look from the humanoid figure next to Ko. Flix, however, you have no idea what they're talking about, because that's not how you got yours.
Hell nah. There was a hell of a lot more sparkle in Panaz.
Picturing now is just like this glitter bath, and Flix emerges with a friggin' stone.
See? You understand.
No!
Everybody needs more glitter bath in their life. So much glitter bath. Glitter bath.
So
Glitter
what were
bath.
what were the two of you doing for that entire time we were in there? You said we were gone for a minute.
For one whole minute, we looked at each other and sighed.
I
The
did
door
not
opened and
sigh.
you came out.
I like that. I did not sigh.
Honestly, Bruce, you didn't sigh for us.
I mean, what else am I supposed to do with my 60 seconds?
It was one whole minute.
You could have, I don't know, lowered your head and hoped for our well-being. You don't exactly have ears to perk up, so...
Well, you got your stone, so seems like things are going your way now.
Things always go my way. What's wrong with you?
Kohana kind of looks at all of you. It's like, well, I guess it worked. I mean, what do you plan to do now?
Well, I said I'd help Leonard, and I plan on fulfilling my end of the bargain.
Could eat a box of pastries on an adventure.
I just
I would-
imagine that right as Flix was about to say that, he was about to shove one into his mouth.
Yes.
In other words,
Yes,
the
it
last of the sentence is not is completely incohesive.
and
Not cohesive because in the middle of the sentence he shoved one in his mouth.
Go ahead, Jen.
and Varius is like, I'm apparently going to be searching the dark places of the world.
The
Hmm.
dark? Why would you want to do that?
Reasons.
What we rabbits do, honestly. Hobolitions always dig deep.
This is true.
Well, if you're looking for something like that, then I mean, you could always ask Leonard. He knows a lot of things. I know.
He and I were on very good terms last we spoke.
Well, I mean, he kind of looks to his friends like, well, we know someone else that knows a lot about the inner workings. Do you think he'd be willing to help? Go
Sorry.
ahead. It's fine. You're fine.
I mean, as long as they offer some conversation and don't see a problem with it.
I mean, it's up to them. Koana will kind of look back at you. It's like, well, you can ask, of course, Leonard, Auntie. They usually have some resources, but we know someone that knows a little bit more about, well, everything, but can't exactly talk about it here. And yes, you do keep trying to say the name or even mention the figure, Tiberius, and nothing comes out. It's almost as if something's holding you back.
Let's Varius is huffing and finally says, more knowledge seems like a good idea.
And he looks at Rose. You said you wanted more in-depth info about everything, right?
Yeah, I think that would go a long way.
Well, this friend of ours is the one that kind of wrote the Arcanum Infinium, the kind of guide to the planes. If anyone knows anything, it's him. He's a little eccentric. He kind of looked to his friend for a moment and then back.
I mean,
Rose at hearing the word eccentric looks over to Flix and then back over to Cole.
A different type.
I think
Oh, God,
regardless, I
you're
can
so
handle
weird.
it.
I mean, he's really nice. He just likes talking to people and having company. He doesn't get a whole lot of visitors.
yeah. He might drown you in tea, but he's a nice enough guy.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's good tea, though.
Tea. I heard tea.
I heard tea as well.
I mean,
You
that's
like
tea? I mean, it's an option for all of you. If you want to seek out someone else, it's up to you. But
I'm sorry. You mentioned someone who had tea.
yeah, it's. He kind of looks to the humans like, which name should I use? Should I use Da Vinci or should I use?
Lead us to the tea baron.
He's kind of questioning his friend, like, which name of yours should I use?
Leo.
Right. My friend Leo here, his friend, yeah, he has a lot of knowledge. In fact, he's one of the best scholars here in the plains.
No, don't talk about books, please.
Well, most of his knowledge is actually kept within himself, not really books. He writes books, but most of his knowledge is with his memory, which is incredible.
Varius has perked up a bit.
Oh no.
But if you want to seek out someone else, then please don't let us stop you. But we think we can take another
I'd be
path.
fine with this. What about you, Flix, Rose, Tiberius? I already know you, Tiberius.
Honestly, someone who doesn't smell like pages that have not been turned in 200 years would be a little bit more.
If you're done coughing up that hairball of yours, I think seeking out this friend of theirs might turn out fruitful.
Well,
I give a
whatever.
thumbs up while stuffing cake in my face.
Well, I know Auntie said that there was another one of you, another member of your little group that. Kohana kind of looks at you, Tiberius, and frowns, and then just kind of puts one finger over his mouth in a shh motion. Trust me, I know. I know what you're trying to say, but you can't say anything. Perception to everyone to see if you notice this. Let's just see. Just want to see something. Okay. Tiberius, you don't need to because he's the one talking to you. Oh, God.
What are these rolls today?
They're either
like
zero.
Iron Hawk.
They're either
big
0
cake.
or 20.
The cake hawk.
Rose, you don't even notice anything. You're more on the, like, you're kind of hard focused on the fact that these two people, this what looks to be an outsider and this fellow primordial, this dust primordial, knows someone that knows more information than like anyone's. Like, that's got you kind of hooked and not really paying attention to Tiberius's coughing fit. Flix, on the other hand, you really do notice. You're like, what the? Wait, what? You notice that Kohana seems to know why Tiberius is coughing and seems to be trying to tell him to be quiet about something.
Hey, why is he coughing? It's not
Kohana,
really hairball, is it? He's not hair, he's got fur.
Kohana just frowns. It's like, he's not allowed to say something.
What's he allowed to say?
I can't say.
Why not? You're not allowed to not say it.
No one is.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know. It doesn't. But that's how it is.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm gonna open Tib's mouth open. Why? Okay, clear it out. You should be able to talk now.
Varius is watching this like, okay, I don't think they're trying to hurt him.
Indignation.
You get the most sour glare you've ever had in your life, Flix.
I stuff a cake in your mouth.
Oh no! Oh no!
So
Please don't choke him.
Various and Rose, you gotta see Flix pull out this like a roll cake, like you know how you have those little sponge cakes that get rolled with cream in it. Pulls out like this little chunk of one, just shoves it into Tiberius's mouth.
There, all better.
Like, so who's this friend with the T that we want to speak to?
That's our friend Amadeus, actually. They live in the plane of wind, though, so we'll need some time to let them know that you're coming.
Varius, weren't you reading books by an Amadeus?
Cozy just kind of perk up.
Dr. Sayus?
There were quite a few books with that name in the library that we visited.
Well, he did write it. He keeps the most up-to-date guide on the planes for pretty much anyone. It's the only source of literature out there that really is accurate to the world. All the others either skew the truth or paint this place as a horrible, chaotic mess. Or they don't paint it at all. There's some worlds out there that don't even know we exist. Kohana frowns. It's like, it's like that.
Cue rabbit sweating.
The world me and Leo come from is like that. We didn't know this place existed. Not until we came here. Go ahead and roll deception, actually. Tiberius.
I'm good at deception. God damn
You're
it!
not.
Should
Everyone
I
can
roll
kind of-
deception as well?
Sure.
We're both doing the shifty-eyed glance.
You are both doing that little kind of straight-bodied, shifty-eyed sweat, kind of looking at everyone like, hope they don't notice.
Everybody
Yeah,
does.
Rose, you definitely notice it with the 10 and 9. Yeah, you definitely notice that they're, the bunnies are sweating bullets. Flix, you don't notice it all.
I see nothing. I am eating sweets.
Your face is buried into that sweets box.
So good. So delicious.
Various is slightly.
Also, why am I rolling double?
It's because you're rolling an advantage for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
How
You'll
do you
have.
stop that?
Let me turn.
Go to
I can
your
turn it
character.
off.
You go to
I'm
your
at-
character sheet, and there should be underneath your name and class stuff. There should be some little buttons, and you just want to click it to. There should be advantage, normal, and disadvantage.
Yeah, Jim just showed it to me.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
No, it's okay, Jim.
It's okay.
He literally just ran from the other room. Was like, it's right here. I'm like, oh.
We're literally a room away. So
It's fine. I'll take the first roll. So Flix.
Yeah, take the first roll.
Flix has suddenly become enamored with the fact that there is a cookie in there with glitter sprinkles,
Oh, it's got sprinkles.
and they're glitter sprinkles actually.
Oh, best day ever.
Rose,
So how many worlds that don't know about primordials? Just why? Can we move on, please?
Rose, you see right through it.
Rose is just like, what has gotten to you two now?
Absolutely nothing. What are you talking about? Nothing's gotten to at all. Right?
Look at this cookie. It's got sprinkles and glitter.
Yes, look at the cookie.
It's mine.
Did Flix just hiss at us? I think it's part feline.
I mean, that makes sense.
You never know with Faye.
Cookie.
I think it just
Well-
swallowed that like a duck.
But
I,
go ahead.
I suppose we should start heading back then.
Kohana
Hey.
looks.
Yes, that. Why don't we do that before we find even more inane ways to drive ourselves insane?
I mean, you're not dealing with voids, so I guess that's a good thing, right?
Rose, can your kind go insane?
Kohana kind of gives Rose.
That's a valid point.
Picturing Flix like just constantly stuffing the pastries in the mouth, not even finishing chewing it, right?
Yes, you're understanding.
Oh my god.
Rose just gives an incredibly complex look over everyone, just like, the fuck is wrong with you people? And then starts
I don't
meandering
understand
off.
your look. It's too complex.
Yeah, Rose is just
Your
walking
look is
away
hurting
now.
my brain.
What is Rose doing?
Rose is just walking away now.
Oh.
I mean, I think that's how Flix affects people. Just don't talk to it. Just walk away.
It's probably for the best, or you'll get roped in. Insanity.
But Kohana will look at you guys and be like, well, if you do want to take us up on our offer, he kind of thinks for a second. It's like, write a letter and have someone send it to me. You can find couriers all over the place. Just make sure it's labeled to Kohana in wind.
Sounds doable.
Because I'm afraid I can't take you now. He kind of needs a heads up when someone's about to visit, or else the defenses will be on. And those are not fun. The last people I knew decided to go through that, and I mean, they got out of it, but it's not fun to deal with.
Right.
In fact, if you're staying at the tavern, 2 of them might be there still. If you see she or someone named Greed, tell them I said hi.
Right.
Know a creature that absorbed magic?
Kohana blinks. A lot of things do. Why?
Perhaps a walking time bomb, then, would narrow the field a little.
His ears kind of pin back. No?
Ah, excellent then. Nothing to worry about. All good.
What do you mean time bomb?
Deception.
Okay, go ahead. Roll deception.
No, please.
I'm waiting for it.
You fooled him. He's sort of like, okay. Well, do you know how to get back to the tavern on your own?
Well, we have Flicks. And all we have to say is Flicks.
I look up covered in powdered sugar.
You also have a bit of chocolate glaze kind of sticking to the side of your face.
There are more sweets back at the tavern.
Tavern. Sweets.
Rose has already walked off. Yeah, Rose has already walked off.
Is just looking at the backside of Rose, being like, he's probably going back there.
Just trying to get my sweets? Better not be.
God damn it, Flicks.
A bolt for the sweets while holding my box of sweets.
He has a lot longer legs than us, Varius.
True. And I got heels.
Wait, what?
Clickety clack.
Varius is trying to run after him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Tiberius will politely excuse himself to the
Oh,
two.
my hero!
God damn it, Flicks. Tiberius will politely excuse himself to the two, thank them for their help, and then chase after Varius.
Flex, as you kind of start chasing after him, you kind of get your foot caught on some grass and you trip. So roll me a dex save.
I did.
Oh, no!
Oh, no! No, your sweets!
My beautiful, beautiful ankle! And my boots!
You
My
fall
heel.
face
Fun.
first. No, it's worse. You kind of trip over this grass that kind of catches your boot. And not only do you fall face first onto the ground, you fall face first into your box of sweets.
Oh, no! The worst day ever!
So now your makeup is messed up, and now you're covered
Well,
in
I'm gonna
sugar,
cry.
chocolate, cream. So you all just kind of turn back and hear this splat.
Flicks, are you okay?
And now I'm ugly crying into the box of sweets.
Oh.
There's been so many nat ones.
The worst day ever.
It's either been nat 20s or nat
I need you to
1.
care.
Yes. But yeah, you all kind of turn around and see that Flix is now face first on the ground with her face inside the box of sweets. You kind of just see all kinds of bits of like cream and chocolate and jams all kind of spread out in a circle around their head as the box kind of exploded out around them.
I'm at a loss for words.
You know what? I can't be seen like this. I'm gonna summon my unseen servant and I'm gonna have it carry me.
Okay.
Oh.
Too much.
Varius, I think we've tethered ourselves to the wrong horse.
In fact, as you have unseen servant kind of carry,
Alright,
everyone sees like Flix being carried bridal style in the air. There's nothing there
Yes.
that they can see.
Yes, it's
And
the
they're
only
ugly,
way.
they're ugly crying. There's chocolate in their hair and everything.
It's horrible. I am a mess right now, and I just can't take it. It's too much.
So you literally see Flix being carried by something unseen bridal style. Have fun with that.
So I'm just like floating in the air, kind of curled up. It's freaking weird.
Yeah.
While cuddling Truffles because I need him for emotional support right now.
You do kind of see indentations of footprints as they're being carried, but that's about it. Rose, did you see any of this? Were you far enough away?
Depends if Flix has caught up yet.
He was trying to catch up.
That roll?
Do I
Flicks went through a box of donuts.
do I hear something coming behind me then?
Yeah,
You
it's
know you're
considering Flix is like ugly crying and screeching. Yeah, you could hear it.
Rose is going to turn around and is about to like lecture into Flix, and then sees just what is happening
Look
here.
at me, I'm idiot.
Oh.
It's a good thing we don't have
Oh.
sanity damage in this.
Okay. I guess. As much as I hate to say it, I have to know. And it's just gonna show out detect magic.
Roll a 1d100 for me.
Oh,
Oh,
no!
yeah. Enjoy the wild magic. Not my fault.
Okay. Alright, you're fine. You kind of use detect magic and you can see this outline of a figure actually carrying Flix. But your spell goes off without a hitch, which is weird because your last one didn't.
I mean, it had a pretty good effect.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be fair, Rodrigo needs to be seen.
But yeah, you can actually see the outline of a figure, some sort of invisible figure carrying Flix bridal style. And you're sitting there, it's like, oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Rose lets out just a deep sigh at realizing what it is, and will just point down the way. Taverns in that direction.
Boom. And like 3 baths.
Tips not the cause. No, there are bats. But you guys start making your way back down into the underworks itself, following the signs until you reach the Fadar Commons once again. Things have picked up a bit more as it's still early morning. You guys haven't been out that bit for very long, maybe a couple hours. But there's more people in the streets, there's vendors now showing up and setting up underground and whatnot. More buildings are lit with life, and the tavern actually seems to be pretty hopping right now. There's a lot of people inside. It's actually quite loud. Varius, you find that you cannot mention the creature that you saw. You can even mention it in passing.
He's probably tried a little bit, and it's just like,
If you two are still having, I don't know, problems coughing up stuff, I'm sure Auntie can whip something up for you. She tends to be into folk remedies like that.
he snorts and tries to say something, but it's probably broken at best.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a hairball.
Aww. Pay in mind, silence is on an area, not an individual. So, I learned that the hard way.
Every bit counts.
But you guys eventually make it back to the tavern. You kind of have to shove past a couple people who are hanging out up front. And there's a whole gaggle of people. There's fae, there's normal-looking creatures, there's vampires, there's primordials, there's all sorts of people here.
Wait, what you're telling me is that Flix's unseen servant is pretty much parting the sea of people to get into... God.
Yeah, it is.
Well trained, okay? God.
And you kind of see people looking on like, oh, geez, here we go again.
Again?
It's like anyone around kind of seeing the scene of the unseen servant carrying Flix. Everyone's just like, oh, geez, not again.
Of course, it's happened many a time. Why do you think I have it prepared?
In fact, you actually enter to see that there is a large gathering of fae around the center of the room. I don't have any tokens for them right now, so I'm sorry.
It's all good.
But you guys are right about here. Flix is being carried in. I'm gonna put you on my layer. Okay. But yeah, there's a bunch of people, and around here, there's a bunch of fae sitting around the table. In fact, one of them, Flix would recognize, is Jericho. But they're sitting also with a very, very massive figure that's kind of crouched over the table. It can't really sit there. It's kind of sitting on the floor, but still towering above everyone else. And it's this massive knight-looking being with ornate armor, large butterfly wings, and looks very intimidating. There's also another figure, a crystalline figure in a almost steampunky little outfit and top hat. It's kind of chatting with the two. And there's a third, final figure that actually looks a little like a primordial that you all have seen. It's Astrov. But they all seem to be talking around this table. And it's busy. It's real busy in here. So. What do you do?
Well, looks like we're just in time for happy hour.
Auntie definitely is busy. She's kind of rushing from table to booth, carrying stuff.
I don't think we're going to have much luck talking to Auntie right now. Now, I missed... There was Astrov at the table, Jericho, and who was the other one?
There is a very large figure that's actually sitting on the floor. That's in ornate armor, ornate blue and cobalt armor with large butterfly wings. And there's a fourth figure that's almost a crystalline looking creature with sort of steampunky looking robes and a top hat on. You would know who that is.
Ah! Yes.
But they all seem to be talking, and there's actually a gramophone on the table. And the crystalline figure is working on it. But they seem to be chatting amongst each other. You're free to have fun with that, by the way, Jin. But they all seem to be having a very lively conversation. Shiver from the past!
It's fine.
Jericho will kind of look up as he watches as Flix is carried off toward the baths in the back. It's like, he'll then notice Tiberius kind of rush past over to the bar, and then he'll look at Varius, and it's like, he looks at Varius and notices, it's like, oh, what did he fall into this time?
Cakes.
He opens his mouth, pauses, closes it. I'm not surprised. And then we'll kind of turn back to his conversation.
I wish I felt the same way.
Auntie kind of goes over to the bar, Tiberius, and looks at you and kind of sees that you're choking and coughing. It's like, I mean, I got something for that, but you got a hairball or something? I'll take it as a yes. I got just the thing for it. Good old hairball cleaner will get that cleared up straight away.
Is it Drano?
Nah. She actually starts fixing a very. It looks, for lack of a better word, like oil, like black tar oil, but it starts fizzing.
This is fine.
Tiberius, she kind of slides the drink over to you. It's in a big tall glass. She's like, drink it all in one gulp and make sure you hold your nose. It smells like gasoline. Yep. Just make sure you hold your nose and drink back the whole thing.
Wait, I'm supposed to hold my what now?
Hold your nose, and then drink the whole thing.
He crosses his eyes at his nose. How do you hold your nose?
It means don't smell it.
That's impossible! You can smell it from across the room!
Yeah, it reeks of gasoline, and you're definitely getting a couple eyes near it and looking at you like, oh.
What's gasoline?
No, it's not.
Huh?
Just drink it. You'll be fine.
Alright. I
Give
still
me a
not yet on.
Give me a con save.
Oh
No.
no. Just the small. No.
Oh!
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah, you down that like it was a goddamn shot glass, and just kind of just you pull back your head and just down the whole glass. It doesn't taste great. It tastes like it's burning the inside of your throat. But the moment you finish, you slam the glass down and kind of just exhale this breath of black smoke. You suddenly feel like you can talk a lot clearer now.
I
Didn't
can't
taste great.
say-
Didn't taste great, but you're definitely not coughing.
But if I try and say anything, it just doesn't come out.
If you try to say anything about it, you can't say anything. But you get an advantage on your next performance check.
Right.
So make sure you put that in your notes.
Performance. Yeah. Boy.
Do we need a repeat of the prism?
No. No.
Anyway, what's everyone else doing?
Rose is going to peek over, and you said that they're working on a gramophone?
Mm-hmm. The large crystalline figure, it looks like a monstrous sort of man, but it's hard to tell. It's a strange creature, as it's kind of almost knuckle deep into this gramophone that it's tweaking and playing with, while the other three seem to just be chatting very lively with it. In fact, as you get about there, the large figure that's sitting on the ground here kind of turns and gazes at you with a very hard stare. Let's see if I can get a picture of said figure, because I haven't had a chance to really read through it.
Rose gets stopped by the figure turning towards them. I see that you are quite occupied with your antique. Carry on.
Jericho kind of perks up. It's like, why, you're perfectly fine. I mean, Florence is a little intimidating, yes, but that's him, by the way. Now imagine Jericho at about 6 feet comes up to his waist.
His name is Florence.
The being's like, yes, it is.
And he's working on a machine.
No, that would be Gear. He kind of motions over to the crystalline
The
creature.
hand.
Okay. This was out of character. Just saying.
Oh, sorry.
He was making a joke because of the band for the machine.
Oh, right. But, no. It's... Florence is not the one doing that. It's the big crystalline creature that's working on the gramophone.
How... Just real quickly, how much time has elapsed between when we were walking back to actually entering the hedge again?
About an hour.
Okay, about an hour. Yeah, Rose reapproaches the table then. I mean, I have to say, this is quite a gathering around one instrument. Curious.
Jericho will kind of look up. It's like, well, our friend here is quite a mechanic. He builds all sorts of things, including magical items, artifacts, and, well, all manner of things. We've known him for quite a while. He's quite a genius.
Is Jericho referring to the crystalline figure then?
Yes.
Okay. So, is this just an instrument, or considering that it's you folk working on it, that there's more than meets the eye?
Jericho kind of motions to the crystalline creature. It's like, he's not wrong. Well, for one, he's not like myself and Florence here. He's something else, utterly entirely. And then Astrov kind of looks up. It's like, he ain't a primordial either. He's something completely different. But we trust him. He's a good man. Crystal thing.
Huh. I mean, okay, Rose is just gonna be suspicious because there's so much Fae around here. Can Rose tell if this gramophone is just a mundane instrument or something else?
Arcana check for me, please.
Oh, okay. That's usually not too bad. Oh.
Oh yeah, it's not Fey magic either. It's something utterly out of your range of knowledge. It's almost alien.
So,
But he can definitely tell that you're looking at it.
I'm going to wager that this contraption here has more than a few tricks up its sleeve.
I'll go ahead and let Jen type that out.
It being the gramophone, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Is there cackling happening? Why is there witch cackling happening?
Fine.
Beg your pardon?
Florence kind of grimaces. It's like it's kind of alive.
Oh, of course it is.
I don't understand it myself. It's a lot of what he makes is strange and bizarre.
Does it
Go ahead.
actually play music, or is it just in that shell for reasons?
I mean, that's part of it. It can definitely do that. Oh! You kind of hear Florence groan, like, "Oh no, not again."
The crystalline creature taps it with one rather long taloned finger, though it looks more like it's all just big chunks of crystal. And the gramophone has two legs that pop out of the front.
It's a
propping
mimic.
it up. Close.
It's better.
And all of a sudden, it starts playing a rather unusual tune with some instruments you may or may not recognize. It seems to be, if I were to put it into terms that Sealy we'd think of, some sort of 80s rock tune.
I mean, considering last time we had Cord around and played What's New Pussycat. That was the best. But yeah, you're watching this gramophone play very, very clearly music that shouldn't actually come out of a gramophone, Rose.
I guess well done. It seems to be quite verbose.
It's certainly a thing. Florence kind of stares at it.
Yes, one of many things. Do pardon me. Continue on with your business.
If you say so. It goes back to cackling and working on the machine.
Oddly enough, Jericho does kind of chuckle at this. Does anyone else want to do anything? We will actually be wrapping up here. It's been about 4 hours.
We're just gonna be getting changed and not full of sugar and sweet.
He's putting his face back on.
I just imagine the Flicks coming out just all prim and pressed, showered, and smelling like freaking field of flowers, like, ah, much better. Kind of
And then
thing.
throws out glitter because you always need more glitter.
Glitter. Varius, would you like to do anything before we
I
end off?
think Varius is rather tired.
Mm-hmm. You've been through a lot, even in just the morning hours, which, pay in mind, you remember rather clearly, their hours are much, much different. So what might have been just the morning might have been much longer for you and Tiberius. Tiberius, is there anything you want to do?
So many things he wants to do, but he can't talk about it.
You can technically talk about it with Varius.
Only in code and innuendo, and he's tired.
And
I'm sorry.
But you guys have had an interesting morning. Tiberius and Varius went on quite an interesting little journey. Flick's got a face full of pastries. Poor man. And Rose has a lot of questions probably for everything. And with that, we'll be actually ending session 4.
I kind of picture Flicks when he gets up from the pastries, looking at
Understatement of the year. I can't tell you all my machinations after all. You gave me the work. You gave me stuff to work with, and I've created something terrible.
I love it and hate myself.
It's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it's not going to end badly for all of us.
I'd just like to point out that all the perception rolls of 1 is perfectly in character for Tibbs, so I'm happy.
I loved it.
I
Sorry.
so much
Stop
wanted to scream when Tibbs got the nat 0 on or the nat 1 whatever on perception, and it's like
3 times.
I was like, now you know my suffering.
But it's
Scratching has
Tibbs.
no window.
It's Tibbs. He's completely oblivious to the fact that he missed something because he would never miss anything important to him.
But with that, we will be ending session 4. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's just a shame Myth couldn't join us, but they were not feeling well, and playing while you're sick is terrible. I've done it.
Hopefully they're feeling better.
I hope so, too.
Get
If
well.
you guys have questions, I'm actually going to be giving you some homework. I want each of you to give me a small list of magic items that you would personally like to find. They can be bad or they can be good.
Please no. Oh, please no, not for Tibbs. This is a terrible plan.
Every one of you. This way, I don't wind up just giving them away randomly and not being something that you probably potentially want for the character or something that might work RP wise. So make a list of maybe like 5.
Does it
And
have to
send
be
them to me.
specific, or can we just do a general thing?
You can do a general list if you can't think of anything specific. And if you think of a general one, I might make an item based off of that.
Okay.
Dominoes! The dominoes are the best. Don't give them music-based magic. But that is your homework for next time, is to get me a little list, maybe 5 items that you would like to see, 5 magic items. They could be general or they could be specific ones.
If anybody
And-
gets music magic, they may have a little gramophone appearing in their room, maybe.
And that might invite music battles. I'm just
Maybe.
saying.
Maybe.
Play magic music. Does that count?
I guess technically. I mean, should we ever bring up the fact that she made a bunch of water snakes dance with her flute?
She used up so much of her bardic inspiration on that.
I
Because
know.
we kept on getting nat ones.
Didn't someone get decked in the face because it's water snake?
Yes!
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 I have words for water snake, but I'm saving that for after the stream.
Is it boy
Wait.
golly gee how I love them?
East was the one that got punched in the face.
Oh!
I said after stream.
Well, we're ending here, so I'm switching us back to the title card.
Boy.
All right,
All
go on your
right.
swearing spree.
All right, folks. Thank you all for watching once again, and yeah, hope you all enjoyed it, and see you in 2 weeks.